You are angry, even if you hide it well, even if you wouldn't call it that. There's a fire smoldering inside you. And I'm not talking about explosive tantrums or public meltdowns. I'm talking about the quiet anger, the one that simmers just beneath the surface, the one you swallow with a forced smile, the kind that tightens your chest when you feel dismissed, the kind that keeps you awake at night, replaying the conversation you didn't speak up in. That anger has become part of your everyday life, part of your way of thinking, speaking, being. And here comes the uncomfortable part. You know it. You feel it there, coiled and tense. Yet you carry on as if it's not there. Because anger, as corrosive as it is, sometimes comforts. In a twisted way, it's easier to let that anger quietly fester than to face the pain hiding beneath it. And guess what? You're not alone in this. Look around. Everyone carries their own little inferno. We live in a world quietly boiling under the surface. The coworker who snaps over nothing, the driver cursing behind the wheel, even the friend who jokes with a sharp edge. Anger is everywhere, masked in polite smiles and "I'm just tired" excuses. Everyone feels it to some degree. You're not some monster for feeling rage. You're part of a human story as old as time. Because anger is not just an emotion, it's an instinct. It's wired into you by millions of years of evolution. Think about it. Anger is the fight in fight or flight. It gave our ancestors the surge of strength to defend their tribe, to scare off predators, to fight for survival. Without anger, they might not have made it, and you might not be here. In the wild, anger was a weapon, a necessary one. It commanded respect, staked boundaries, fueled courage. Humans are programmed to survive, not necessarily to be happy. And in that ancient programming, anger holds a privileged place. It was an evolutionary trick that kept us alive. So yes, anger had a purpose, but here's the problem. What kept cavemen alive on the savannah doesn't translate well to the modern world. You're not fending off lions or enemy tribes daily. You're dealing with office politics, family disagreements, traffic jams, life in a society that expects you to act civilized. The world changed, but that fire inside you? It didn't. So what did you learn to do? Repress it. From a young age, you were likely taught that showing anger was bad, that good kids don't throw tantrums. Maybe when you got mad, you were scolded or punished. Or maybe you grew up around someone else's rage, a parent, a sibling, and it scared you. You saw how anger can get out of control, and you swore you'd never be like that. So you pushed your anger down deep. You smiled when you were furious. You said okay when you wanted to scream. Without realizing it, you turned suppressing your anger into a skill, an armor you wear every day. But here's the trap. That armor is also a cage. Every unspoken outrage, every time you choke back your fury, it doesn't vanish. It stays inside, locked up with you. Psychology is clear on this. Repressed anger doesn't die, it metastasizes. Every time you bite your tongue instead of speaking your truth, every time you force a laugh when something deep inside you is seething, your body pays the price. Your heart beats faster, stress hormones flood your system. Anxiety, insomnia, depression. They often wear the masks of suppressed anger. It's like radiation in your soul. Invisible maybe, but toxic. Anger, in essence, is a defense mechanism. We use it to feel in control when something hurts us. It's easier to growl and snarl than to cry and say, "You hurt me." Anger shields your fragile ego. For a moment, it makes you feel strong instead of vulnerable. It tells you that you're in charge, that you're protecting yourself, when really, you're just protecting your hurt feelings. But each time you choose anger over honesty, each time you lash out instead of laying your pain bare, it's one more brick in the wall between you and genuine healing. And the higher that wall, the harder it becomes to see over it, to see what's real on the other side. Let's be honest, you've built part of your life on this anger. It may have helped you survive things, yes. But how much of your life are you sacrificing to it now? How many moments of joy have been lost because that anger wouldn't let you fully relax, fully love, fully live? Anger was meant to be a visitor, a response to immediate danger, not a permanent resident in your heart. There's a reason nearly every culture warns about the danger of rage. In myths and stories, we hear of heroes consumed by wrath. The mighty warrior Achilles, whose rage cost him dearly, or the wrathful gods who destroy what they love. These stories exist because our ancestors recognized anger's double-edged sword. Yes, anger can empower. It can drive someone to challenge injustice or overcome fear. But unchecked, unending anger, it destroys. It topples empires and families alike. And often, behind the fiercest anger lies a deep well of pain. Remember that because it's important. Behind anger, there is pain. And now we arrive at the part that will truly make you uncomfortable, because this is where we talk about you. You see, you too have played the role of the angry destroyer in your own life. You've let anger take the wheel. You've snapped at people who didn't deserve it. You've hurt those you love with cutting words or cold silence. Yes, you've used anger to survive, to defend yourself when you felt threatened or small. But you've also used it to attack, to wound, to assert power when you felt powerless. Not all of your anger has been noble or justified. Some of it has been petty. Some of it has been cruel. Some of it has left scars on others and on you. But we are not here to condemn you. This isn't about guilt. It's about understanding. We need to understand this beast inside you, because only by understanding it can you begin to tame it. Only when you face it honestly can you finally change. So let's go deeper into the place almost no one wants to go. The anger beneath the anger. It sounds strange, but there is an anger inside you that you might not even recognize as anger. It's not the shouting kind. It's the quiet poison, the anger you carry every day in little ways, maybe at life, maybe at yourself. Yes, at yourself. It's the anger turned inward, the resentment toward your own choices, your own limitations. It's the anger that whispers, "I'm not enough. The world is unfair. What's the point?" It doesn't yell. It doesn't throw things. It just sits in your gut, heavy and hard, influencing every decision you make. It lives in your habits. It leaks out in your sarcasm, your cynicism, that passive-aggressive thing you said as a joke. It's in the way you procrastinate on something important, maybe as a quiet rebellion. It's in how you quit relationships or jobs before they can disappoint you, telling yourself you're just being prudent, when really you're just fed up and hurting. Have you ever wondered how much of your life is shaped by this subtle, constant anger? How many friendships have you let wither because you couldn't forgive a minor mistake? How many times have you walked away from people or opportunities proudly saying, "I don't tolerate nonsense," when deep down you were just afraid of getting hurt again? How often do you say, "I'm not angry, I'm just stressed," or "Whatever, I don't care," when in fact you do care. You care so much it's burning you up. You have all these little stories you tell yourself to justify the anger. Stories that make it seem reasonable to stay mad, to stay distant, to not care. You say, they don't deserve my forgiveness. You say, anyone in my position would be angry. You say, it's just how the world is. Excuses. Be honest. You've got a whole list of them. They were disrespectful. She betrayed me. He never listened. Your boss is an idiot. Your ex was selfish. Your parents screwed up. Life's unfair. The traffic, the politics, the economy, your childhood, even Mercury in retrograde. There's always something to point at, isn't there? Always something to blame for why your anger keeps burning. It's always an external reason to keep that fire alive, so that you never have to turn your gaze inward. And the most messed up part? This pattern camouflages itself as strength, as conviction. You tell yourself you're just standing up for your principles. I have a right to be angry, you insist. I'm protecting myself. I won't let people walk all over me. And you know what? Sometimes that's true. Sometimes anger is justified. But living in anger is not. More often than not, that righteous fury is just your hurt in disguise. It's your fear wearing the mask of ferocity. You call it self-defense or high standards or toughness. But often it's just pain that you've never addressed. Playing dress-up is pride. In reality, you're not protecting yourself with this anger. You're sabotaging yourself. Every time you choose to stew instead of forgive, to lash out instead of open up, you reinforce the idea that the world is bad and you must be angry to survive. You strengthen the chains that hold you down. Over time, those chains become comfortable in their misery. You repeat the same angry reactions so often they start to feel like they're just who you are. You say, I'm just an angry person, as if that's your fate. But it's not who you are. It's what you've allowed yourself to become. And the longer you live in that cage of anger, the more it shrinks around you. You become your own jailer. You no longer need anyone else to ruin your life. You're doing it from the inside. And no, let's make this clear. This is not some cheap self-help speech about think positive or a quick trick to manage anger. I'm not here to tell you to count to 10 and breathe when you get mad. This is deeper. This is raw and it's real. It's about you looking in the mirror and finally admitting the truth. That this anger is hurting you more than anyone else. That it's been controlling you. That you're tired of it. It's about realizing that you have been clinging to anger like a raft in a storm. But that raft is made of concrete and it's dragging you down. It's about acknowledging that because of your anger, you have betrayed yourself. That you've let the better parts of you drown while clutching this heavy, destructive thing. Think about it. How many times has anger cost you something you cared about? Maybe it drove away someone you love. Maybe it shut down an opportunity you dreamed of. Maybe it simply stole weeks, months, even years of inner peace that you'll never get back. There are parts of you, gentle, kind, hopeful parts, that you have smothered to keep the anger alive. You've let your own happiness, your own potential, be the sacrifice that anger demanded. You gave up on certain dreams because staying angry felt safer than risking failure. You've avoided intimacy or new friendships because it's easier to say people suck than to risk being hurt. You've settled for a life smaller than the one you truly want. All because that anger kept you inside your comfort zone of bitterness and blame, too afraid to step out and feel something else. And when you live like that for too long, you know what happens? You get used to it. The fire becomes the background noise of your life. You wake up with a scowl and think it's a normal morning. You don't even notice the tension in your shoulders, the constant irritability. It's just who you are now. You become functional, sure. You can smile for the camera, laugh at the dinner table, make small talk at parties. But inside, there's a numbness. Or maybe a constant irritation that never truly goes away. There is no peace in a heart that never lets go of its grudges. There is no joy in a life where every happiness is measured against some past injustice or current resentment. Living with constant anger is like carrying a hot coal in your hand at all times. You might not feel the burn every second, but it's always there, limiting what you can touch, making every experience a little less bright. It drains you. It becomes the lens through which you see the world, everything tinted with bitterness. And perhaps, worst of all, it blinds you to who you might have been without it. You forget what it was like to wake up without that weight on your chest. To let go of this anger, to truly put it down, is terrifying. I won't lie to you, it's hard. Because for better or worse, anger has been your companion, your shield, your identity. To drop it means confronting what's underneath, the hurt, the fear, the vulnerability that you've been avoiding. It means standing exposed, without the armor of "I'm pissed off" to protect you. It means you might have to forgive those who don't deserve forgiveness, or accept an apology you never got. It means you have to forgive yourself for carrying this so long. It means stepping out of the familiar cage, not knowing who you'll be without your anger to define you. That's like walking a tightrope without the net you've always had. It's dizzying. It gives you vertigo. Because the truth is, once you let go of blaming everyone and everything, you are left with just you and the world as it is, not as your anger painted it. No excuses, no distractions. But listen, that step, as scary as it is the only way out. Staying in your anger will not make you stronger. It's keeping you weak. It's keeping you afraid. So I'm going to challenge you now, directly. Here's the final challenge. Confront that anger today. One piece of it, the one that's burning you the most. You know exactly what or who I mean. Maybe it's anger at someone who hurt you years ago. Maybe it's anger at yourself for something you did or didn't do. Maybe it's anger at life for not being what you expected. That one deep, festering grudge that has been a thorn in your heart for too long. Take it out and look at it. Just today, just this once, decide you're going to deal with that anger. You don't have to tell anyone. This is not about them. It's about you. Sit with it quietly and question it. Why is it really there? What's behind it? Is it covering up a deep hurt, a disappointment, fear, sadness? Be brutally honest with yourself. Peel back the layers of that anger like an onion, even if it makes you cry, especially if it makes you cry, and then let it go. Let it go, just a little, just enough to loosen its grip on you. If it's a person you're angry at, consider forgiving them, not for their sake, but for yours. If it's yourself you're angry at, forgive yourself. You're human. You've suffered enough. If it's life you rage at, realize that life isn't punishing you on purpose. Sometimes it's just life, and holding on to bitterness won't change it. Decide that you're done being controlled by this particular anger. Take its power away, even if only for today. How do you do that? Maybe you write a letter and burn it. Maybe you literally scream into a pillow or go punch a punching bag to physically release it. Maybe you just sit quietly and breathe, imagining that anger draining out of you with every exhale. There's no fancy ritual necessary. Just choose to let it go. It will feel strange, I promise you. You might feel empty or exposed without that anger fueling you. You might even feel afraid, because what fills that space now? But wait and watch what happens. In that space, something new will grow. Maybe a sense of peace you haven't felt in years. Maybe sadness will come. That's okay. Tears can cleanse what rage poisoned. Maybe you'll feel relief, like a burden you almost forgot was there has finally been set down. You will feel naked without your anger, yes. Vulnerable, but also, for the first time in a long time, truly free. Because anger is a prison, the most sophisticated prison there is. It's a prison that tricks you into thinking it's protecting you. It lets you walk around, go about your day, thinking you're free. But all the while, you're trapped behind its bars, seeing life through the narrow slit of rage and resentment. When you start to let go of anger, it's like stepping out of that cell and into the open air. It's a leap into the unknown. And that's scary. Your legs will tremble when you stand up without those chains for the first time. But you won't fall. In fact, you'll discover you can stand taller without the weight of all that anger on your shoulders. You can breathe deeper without the smoke of that inferno choking you. And with each bit of anger you release, you'll start to rebuild yourself. Not the angry version of you, but the real you that's been there all along, buried under the ashes. Because everything that truly matters, love, connection, creativity, joy, purpose, thrives in the absence of anger, in the space beyond those prison walls. Those things have been waiting for you, just outside the door of that cell. Open it, and here's the conclusion. The hard truth you've probably known deep down all along. Letting go of anger hurts. It's hard, and it's painful, and it can leave you feeling raw. But holding on to anger will slowly destroy you. Not in one grand explosion, but drip by drip, day by day, from the inside out. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to die. You're the one who gets sick. It will kill your spirit, your possibilities, your happiness. Not suddenly, no. It's not dramatic. It's a slow corrosion of everything that could have been. It turns you into someone you never wanted to be. Bitter, cynical, and cold. It's the suicide of the soul to live in perpetual anger. And that fate, that slow death from within, is 1,000 times worse than whatever or whoever first made you angry. Every moment you choose to stay angry is a moment you choose to let that person or situation continue hurting you. Enough. If all of this has stirred something inside you, a spark of recognition, a knot in your throat, anything, don't ignore it. Don't push it down, and go back to normal. Normal wasn't working, remember? Take a moment now to acknowledge what you're feeling. Write it down if you want. Scream in your car, cry in the shower. Talk to someone you trust. Do something with it. Just don't bury it again. Don't go back to that autopilot life where you pretend everything's fine and you're just born this way. Don't retreat into that familiar cage and close the door now that you've glimpsed what freedom could feel like. Now, I want you to do one more thing. Go down to the comments and leave a simple phrase. My anger no longer controls me. No context, no explanation. Just that. Let whoever reads it wonder, or maybe understand exactly what it means. Let them see that down here, there are others like you, others who are tired of being ruled by anger, who are breaking their chains and stepping out of their comfort zones into a new life. And if this video hit you, shook you, or even just gently woke you up, then subscribe. Not out of obligation, not because I asked, but because you want to keep exploring this journey, to keep digging into the truths that most people shy away from. This channel isn't for mindless entertainment or feel-good platitudes. It's for those who are ready to face themselves, to tear off the blindfold, even when it stings. And now, I say goodbye, but not like everyone else does. Not with a casual, see you in the next video. No. Because if everything I've said here resonated with you, it's no longer me who needs to talk. It's you. Now it's your turn. Turn off the screen, sit with yourself in the silence, and do what you know you need to do. Confront that inferno within. Because the real ending to the story isn't here on YouTube or in a script I wrote. It's inside you. It's in the choices you make after the screen goes dark. So go on. Face yourself. The only thing left to do now is what you decide.